Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosinzia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and else. So grab your copy today for it goes Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and coming soon to Hamilton Radio and a network near you as well. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, also hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can tune into the Mike Wagner Show on Hamilton Radio every Thursday at 9 on hamiltonradio.net. You can also buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's an artist, a painter, and of course, he is from the Herdsfield, West Yorkshire area. And he's also a well-known bodybuilder. He's also into wrestling, music, youth work, and currently an artist as well. We'll talk about that. And he was diagnosed with colitis and later got inspired by art from watching Bob Ross, and one of my favorites, and worked as an illustrator in 2011 for Cindy Freeland and Renault and more. Traveled in the U.S. in 2012 and tell us about his stories and his ventures in that. He's an author of a brand new book which provides self-help for teens, adults, and going through various battles in life called The Battles We All Face in Times of Uncertainty. It's a battle we do face. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown England, the amazingly multi-talented artist, painter, bodybuilder, and the author of his brand new book, John Morris. John, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thanks for being on as well, too. It's really jolly good in London, as they say. So,
well, I'm a little bit north currently. We're actually up here in Scotland, where it is really, really sunny. The spring is actually
I've been in Scotland. Yeah, my folks went to Scotland, and it was just beautiful over there, I'll tell you.
The amazing thing is, as I talk to more people around the world, I find these connections that someone had a great auntie that lived there, or someone's got connections from Scotland, or, they ask me, do you know this person? And it's like, there's however many millions of people in Scotland, I don't know all of, all of them. But it's tremendous to find all these different connections as we're going about, doing the shows and things. So it's brilliant.
It does. And also social media helps as well, too. It feels like we're neighbors as well, too. And of course, maybe 6 feet, but feels like I'm talking face to face, although on the other sides of the ponds, they say. So that's just a beautiful thing. So you're an artist, painter, and you're also from Herdsfield, West Yorkshire. And you also enjoy bodybuilding, wrestling, and also music, youth work, and you're currently an artist as well. You got a brand new book, The Battles We All Face, Hopes in Times of Uncertainty, to provide inspiration, hope for teens, adults, and provide self-help for going through various battles in life. And of course, we got a lot of battles as well, too. And you went some yourself and how to overcome. We'll talk about that. And before we get into all that, John, tell us how you first got started.
With which bit?
Go to Wayback Machine, Doctor. Wayback Machine, the good doctor.
I think in terms of, I nowadays would consider and class myself as an entrepreneur. By definition, an entrepreneur is somebody who finds or sees issues going on in their day-to-day life, and they find solutions for them. For me, honestly, I think I always knew that I was never going to be conventional. I was never going to be a 9-to-5 guy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But for me, it was just, I don't know, it just didn't fit. I was too creative, didn't fit in the molds, and however you want to phrase it. And I truly believe probably at the age of 12 or 13, when I started lifting weights as a result of a back injury, I just took to it like a duck to water. And, I'd gone through my childhood loving wrestling and being passionate about that. By my teenage years, I was still in love with wrestling, but now I was seeing it as, how can I develop, my body? How can I develop myself? And that really took off. I guess you would say I have quite a highly addictive personality, and certainly used to. Nowadays, it's very, very different after spiritual changes that happened in 2021, I believe it was. But, at that time, it was a case of, if I was doing something and I loved it, I was going to do it to the max. And I began training, weightlifting 3 times a day, 7 days a week, did it solid, rain, sleet, shine, work, you name it. And just really found what I loved. And I suppose it started then to develop, a little bit more the trophies that are sitting before me with regards to bodybuilding. When my dad was working with a security guard and basically said, look, my son's really into his weightlifting. He could do really, really well if someone was there to guide him. Craig Miller took me under his wing and Bob Edmondson, and they trained me and said, look, you're training more as a power lifter rather than, as I had originally thought, oh, this would be a good idea to train for the Olympics. And if you've seen the Olympics, I believe last year or the year before, you see the weight that those guys are lifting. It is phenomenal. I didn't have the body weight or natural size to be able to do that, but they said you do have the shredded kind of metabolism to get into bodybuilding. So I thought, gee, that's a good idea. So I got into that and thoroughly loved it. And I began, I think, competing when I was maybe 17, 18 years old. By the time I was 19, again, we talked about it a little bit before the show. You alluded to it at the beginning of the show. My body was diagnosed with colitis, and I was basically told, look, you need to stop doing this because it's going to kill you. So by the time I was like 19, 20 years old, I had become one of the top in Britain for the Natural Physique Association, which means no steroids, clean living, all that kind of stuff. And by the time I was 19, I had to retire from bodybuilding and then kind of figure out what I was going to do next. And that's when all these different doors, started to open. And, as we talked about off air, I tend to find that you can fail in life doing what you hate. So you might as well take a chance doing something you love. And for me, it was like, I love art. Okay. I love painting. Bob Ross massively inspired me when I was 16, 17 years old. And really from that day, that was my bread and butter. I did work for other organizations while I was building up my businesses and learning how the heck to do this thing before Facebook came about, before Instagram, before any of these things. I remember them. I'm of that age. But it was, it was then developing it, and it starts to become a reality. You start working toward it. And now, over the last couple of years, really, that's where things have really taken that turn and developed into something a lot more, which has been terrific. So that's really it, I suppose, in a condensed nutshell.
Mm-hmm. You also talked about artists as well, too, and getting into art. Who are some of your favorite artists growing up?
Probably my favorite artists, I would say probably currently, because I'm much more aware now of older artists than I was back then. But back then you had guys like Thomas Kincaid and Bob Ross and Chuck I've forgotten the guy's name. The guy called Chuck, who did very similar work to Chuck Pinson. That's what it is. Very similar work to Thomas Kincaid. Nowadays, it's people like Da Vinci. It's people like Monet. A lot of traditional artists, as I adopt more of a historical, study and teaching as well, with upcoming books and things. But yeah, I mean, each one and the stories behind the artwork was simply incredible. It's always the stories that really captivated me. And then I tend to find out more about the artist, and I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. But it's often more about the stories of the person that connects with me more than anything.
Mm-hmm. That's rather interesting. And I see our piece of artwork. It looks like a bird with multicolored wings. You can describe that. That is really cool.
Yeah, well, that is actually our brand new logo, and we operate 7 different businesses, but this one here is probably more my personal logo, because whenever we're mentoring people or helping people, whether it's professionally, personally, spiritually, family-esque, the idea is it's the phoenix, and the phoenix represents leaving your old way of life and walking forth and beginning the new. And that's what we find with a lot of people when we're working with them one-on-one or as part of a group, or even through shows like this, that they're ready. They're at that point where they're just like, I've tried it this way. Now I want to find, the spiritual solution to the problems that we're facing. And I think if more people were educated a little bit more how to manage themselves, how to do self-maintenance and inner engineering, then I think the world, to be honest with you, would be a very, very different place if it wasn't this almost like prescribed conditioning that goes along, that they think, well, this is the best that we can put together. It's like, it's not, because it hasn't always been. So absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's rather fascinating as well, too. You went through some battles yourself. You also became a mentor as well, too, and also subscribing to the book, The Battles We All Face Here in Times of Uncertainty. Hope in time of uncertainty, we'll talk about in just 1 minute. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and on over 30 podcast platforms, coming soon to hamiltonradio.net every Thursday at 9. Take The Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also cool merchandise and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also support The Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com, and hamiltonradio.net. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at The Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the terrific gentleman. He's more of the modern-day Renaissance man, subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show. He's an artist, he's a painter, and he's also a mentor. And he also a bodybuilder, loves music, and does a lot of things. And we cover the artist aspect, which transcribes into the book, The Battles We All Face, hopes in time of uncertainty. And before we talk about the book, and I love that artwork as well too, you faced some battles as well too. And, tell us about some of the battles you went through and how you overcame them.
Some of the battles, honestly, that I faced was not that undifferent or unsimilar than or dissimilar from what a lot of people go through. So like we talked about earlier on, the highly addictive personality. I grew up in a normal, environment. Certainly appeared to me at that time. We weren't flash. We weren't, financially secure by any means. There was a lot of uncertainty, but for me, inside, really battled with, my own sense of identity. And it's really interesting because this is obviously something that people are battling all the time now, and especially today. And, battle depression, battle colitis, battle, the mind, battle all these different things that are going on, battle health issues left, right, and center. And now looking back, I'm now 34. It was my birthday last Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. That was part of the reason I think that we rescheduled for today, which is brilliant. It's also my anniversary on Monday as well. So,
oh, happy anniversary then. This works perfect.
It does. It's absolutely brilliant. But the thing that I'm learning now, and in many ways, I don't consider myself a teacher. I don't consider myself a coach or a guru. And the reason being is because so many, really well-meaning self-help gurus and everything, and spiritual teachers specifically, they have really wrecked for a lot of people the spiritual world and the spiritual development. And when you actually realize that you are not your gender identity, you are not your illness, you are not your profession, but that you are so much more than that, that you are a divine being having a temporary human experience, all of a sudden you stop worrying about all the garbage a lot of the time that's thrown from society, that's thrown from the media. And that was something that I had to go through, honestly, to be able to talk about it. I went through, the times of medical addiction. I went through the times of alcohol. I went through, a lot of those different things because I never felt like I could be me. It was like I never, because I didn't know who I was. And that was the thing. Because anywhere that you go, whether it be a church, whether it be a business, whether it be family or whatever, they've all got their ideologies of who they think you should be. My dad thought I should be a bowler or a snooker player or or whatever. My mum thought I should be a nice guy that just went to work, got married, had kids, retired, died. And
boy, ain't that the truth.
but this is what is prescribed a lot of the time. Like people, don't realize, and I've got, I suppose one of my main passions right now is to re-educate the educational system, because when you go to school, and you sit there and you're taught day in, day out, you're not taught how to be an entrepreneur. You're not taught how to think for yourself. You're taught how to be a cog in a machine. You're taught how to think like a worker, and you're taught how to basically develop and keep the machine going. You're never taught, how to make money, how to survive, how to actually manage money, how to, look for all these different opportunities and things. So, to get back to your original question, I think a lot of the time I struggled finding my identity. I always wanted to be someone else because I was really uncomfortable in my own skin, and now looking back and being very, very comfortable in my own skin and shed all those things as of like 2020, I don't sit under any religious labels anymore. When family ask me, well, what are you? I just simply say, I am.
That's a good answer. I love that. Yeah.
Because people have asked me, are you an Indian? Are you a Buddhist? Are you a Christian? Are you this? And again, I worked for the church for close to 15 years, and now I'm just at the point where I'm like, I'm none of those things, and I'm all of those things. I don't limit myself anymore and say, well, you're an Indian mystic, so as a Christian, I can't listen to you. Or I'm a Buddhist, so, I can't listen to your Christian teachings. And I think people get so hung up on a lot of meaningless junk, they really do, that just stops and halts them from making any form of progress at all. And honestly, Mike, when I dropped a lot of those stuff and I began, I encountered Wayne Dyer in 2021 and his teaching. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that I've been struggling with regards to professional battles and constantly feeling like I was a sole trader in a bigger business, that the support wasn't there, that it was my fault and all of that, because that's what I've been told. I just dropped all of that, and all the bitterness went, all the anger went, And I went through to my wife, and this is after 5 years of struggling with a lot of this stuff from 2015 to 2020, 2021, in fact. And I went through to my wife and I said, all of that stuff is gone. And she's like, what stuff are you talking about? I said, all the anger, all the bitterness, it had gone. And that's really where my spiritual journey re-began. And I think, again, seeing things the way that I do, and I always have, has been a phenomenal, creative process. But I've never limited anything, and I'm always open to everything and attached to nothing. So it means then that, again, I'm free to listen to and just absorb, whoever is presented before me. So those were certainly some of the battles.
And do you think social media is also causing an aggravation in labeling, or are they more encouraging it?
I would definitely say that social media, and it's sort of like that double-pronged sword, because as we know, it can be phenomenal for business, but it can also be the death of a soul, in metaphorically speaking. I think oftentimes that social media is really causing a lot of these things because, again, it's the whole idea of labeling, and I'm not a big fan of labels, because when you label someone, you actually strip away any identity and you put, mental health issues or gender identity issues or whatever onto that person. And that's who, from that point forward, they say, that's my identity. That's who I am. So, for me, the crazy thing is I built up, so many social media platforms over the years, websites on Facebook and social media everywhere. And now I just find myself, I'm maybe on it 3 days a week. And, for Friday to Monday, I'm usually offline completely. And which drives actually some of our team members crazy because they can't get in touch with me. But I'm usually offline and I just sit and I write because I find that it really does play havoc with a person's anxiety level. Again, a lot of this stuff is not taught. But now, honestly, knowing this, I can sit and I can tell you how to get over anxiety without pills. Our mentoring, pills to me are the last option. And that's when you've explored everything else. And unfortunately, I think the world now and social media is very, very quick to prescribe them to people. But I think, I suppose to sum up, social media has been really bad. Again, is there a good or a bad? They just have been. Social media has been one of the forerunners of presenting really, really destructive news about stuff around the world. And you see that effect on people, their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health, when they hear and see so many negative stories that are around. And I just tell them, I said, you want to cure a lot of the stuff you're going through. First of all, take a walk in the park, go out and spend some time in nature. But second of all, turn off the news, because 95% of it, maybe a little bit less, but the majority of it isn't true. And if it is, it's taught in such a way that it's one-sided. You never hear the reason as to why something has happened. And only when you dig a little bit deeper do you actually get the full picture. Remember, there's always 3 sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth.
That's what I was going to say as well too, that I was taught back in the day, it's like you always listen to both sides of the stories and then you formed your opinion. That's when seems to be lacking, because you had the big 3 networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC. And of course you had the BBC from where you're at. You had one presenter, a talking head, and this is like this is how it is. You never had this split like with Fox, CNN, and everything else, and you just have all that. But of course, that's a battle that's also going on. It's like what is truth, and how do people perceive truth? That seems to be another battle. It's like, what is truth and what is the so-called fake news thing?
Well, going a little bit further, there were 2 points. Firstly, truth is only truth in the moment, until, your truth is basically truth until you find more information out. And that's what often people forget, is it's subjective. It's subjective to information. It's subjective to different sources. I know with social science, they explore a number of different sources to make an informed decision. And even then, it's not right. But the other thing about the news, it used to be years ago, if you go way back in your Wayback Machine, it used to be the news was there to report on what was happening with the monarchy, parliament, and in your case, government. Then when they realized, oh, wait, none of our papers are selling, no one's really watching what we're doing, maybe a small percentage, they found, let's tell about little Johnny stuck down a well. That got major coverage. And since that point, they have only ever reported negative news, you never, certainly in the mainstream, you never ever hear of anything positive going on. And again, that's the way people have been conditioned. You want to know why people are so negative, the majority, in terms of percentages, it's because of how they're conditioned. The outer world is a reflection of what's going on internally. And that's, a big reason for a lot of the battles that people are facing right now. It's simple.
Mm-hmm. And of course, speaking of the battles as well, too, more in your book, the battles we all face, hopes and time uncertainty here on the Mike Wagner Show. Maybe you can just share a few pages or a few stories, or maybe just a few tidbits from your book as well, too. And I really love that artwork on there. It's like, did you do that artwork yourself, or who did that?
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Everything we do, everything you see, publicly has all been done here in-house. And part of the reason was because nobody can understand the vision quite like the creator, So I sat there and I knew, and from experience, I was like, well, if we want to do this with websites, I'm going to need to build it myself. If I want to do this with books, I'm going to need to do this myself. So I did, and that where I'm on this side, that was all part of, wanting to stand out, wanting to be different. You go onto the inside cover and it's a very, very different looking book. It is more medieval in terms of its presentation, everything, because again, you get a lot of self-help books that are black and white. They say the same thing, usually parroting similar authors, and you can almost spot them. You can say, well, that was by Earl Nightingale, that was by Wayne Dyer, that was by Andrew Carnegie.
Yes.
And it just goes on and on and on. So with mine, it was quite honestly really different, because this is pre-spiritual change. This is 2020 when this came out. And we do, we look at things like anxiety, we look at things like letting go, overcoming trauma, how to build, a life that you truly desire. What happens, when you've had all of your stuff taken away from you. And folks, I can honestly tell you, you might think, well, that's just that there is a lot to cover. And you've got 40 different chapters on this stuff, but each chapter is pretty much a page. Because you'll find this with me, that my main thing is to get to the root of the issue as quickly as possible. This is almost like, I guess you would say, a modern day devotional. And I'll give you a prime example. Anxiety. A lot of authors want to write a 450-page book on anxiety. Write this down, folks. This is what anxiety is.
And they're anxious themselves.
Yeah, well, this is it. They want to write a 400-page book because they think that people need 400 pages to really get this. And I'm going to give it to you in literally 30 seconds. Anxiety is a fear of the past, fear of the future, what could be or what has been. That is what anxiety is. And it's the same with irrational behavior. And that's really what you're going to work out. So once you realize that, oh, wait, anxiety is not something that we are born with. Now, again, I'm a psychologist in training. This is another area that, I look at specifically. I examine the brain. I can tell you how it works, what it does, and why you do what you do. I love that stuff. But anxiety is not something we're born with. It is something that you may have an anxiety strand in your DNA, but it actually comes as a result of a traumatic event or something where you allowed your emotions to get away from you. All we ever suffer in our lives is our memory and is our emotion. Everything that you experience, whether it's love, whether it's hate, whether it's peace, whether it's joy, on the external, you feel internally. You can't feel it anywhere else. So once you break this down, and like I say, anxiety literally is described in plain text in one page. And I can explain to you, in ways that you sit there and think, okay, so once we've defined it, then I go on in the chapter to basically say, look, some people have rational fears. Now that could be, for example, going out and there's a really, really busy street. Some people are social anxiety sufferers. Sometimes it's going into work, that can cause major anxiety. Mm-hmm. Other times it's more rational fears, such as getting beamed up by a UFO, getting, swallowed up by the earth. These are rational fears. Stepping out of bed and the whole floor collapsing. And this is what you've got to work out, is what you are facing, a rational fear or an irrational fear. And what it comes down to, your suffering is basically because you're allowing your mind. Again, this is where it comes from for inner engineering. If we had more time, I would go into more depth about this. But this is where your mind is running away with you. You are not in control. As one of the Buddhists said, there is nothing more dangerous than an unguarded thought. This is why so many people are getting into trouble. This is why so many people are getting into trouble with their mind and miserable and taking their own lives, is because they believe themselves to be their mind, and they haven't got that little bit of separation between the event that's going on and the issue. And just to wrap up on that section, Mike, if it's okay, all that we ever suffer, we keep alive in ourselves. So once the event has happened, we're the only ones that remembers it. So, some people have had, issues happen 25 years in the past, and they remember it every single day. And I did this, folks. I know how dangerous it is. That's what drove me to drink, because I believed that I just couldn't, literally, I believed that I couldn't cope anymore trying to be what my in-laws wanted me to be, what my family wanted me to be, what the church wanted me to be. And then when you start to wake up a little bit and you also say, I can't control how they respond to me, but I can control myself. And I can control whether I think daily about that really horrific situation, which I'm labeling as a really horrific situation. It just is a situation. That's it. And your progress will really be determined by, can you just move on? And that is often, done by your conditioning and what we do, obviously, with the battles we all face brand. So
now, is that part about moving on also explain the book as well too? And if so, how do you help people move on as well? There's all the self-help books. They give you like 50 million ways, and maybe your version of it, and you can do it in 30 seconds or less. It's okay. Or if you want to do it maybe in few, it's okay too. So
see, a lot of people, it depends on the person. Some people like to, drag it out forever. Me personally, if you've only got 130 years, 120 years max, I don't want to be wasting time, because if you enjoy your life, it's never long enough. It's only the people who are miserable that have a really long life. So in terms of moving on, it's often as simple as that. It is making a clear decision and saying, what do I want to do in my life? Do I want to be stuck here, or do I want to be somewhere else? Now, I'll give you a prime example. Again, going back to my own self, I had a lot of baggage to deal with when I left ministry, when I left the church. And I tried options. I was drinking heavily. I was really not in a good place with family. Nothing was working. Business was growing and developing and all that kind of great stuff. But in terms of myself, I was really self-destructing. And then, literally one day, it's almost like story time, this. It's like one day I was like, do I want to stay in this position forever, or do I actually want to move on? And when you start asking the right questions and wise questions, you suddenly realize there is a life beyond, the church. There's a life beyond all of your experiences, because you've only experienced a tiny little bit of it. And, again, a lot of people talk about this. Sum it up in 10 seconds. Moving on starts with making a clear decision as to where you want to be in your life. And then all you got to do, when you've figured out where you want to be, all you've got to do is figure out the steps that you need to take to get there. So, prime example, this year we're releasing a book that's going to be a best-selling book. The people that we're working with, almost guaranteed to be a best-selling book that is going to change a lot of people's lives around the world. And I can boldly say that. How that came about was because the idea was presented to me divinely, spiritually, godly, whatever you want to call it. And it was something that had been bubbling away in me since 2017. I made the decision. I said, honey, I'm going to start writing this book. I had never, aside from, the devotional book of the battles we all face, hope in times of uncertainty, I had never, ever sat and wrote a novel before. And I sat down, and literally within 11 days from start to finish, we had the first draft done.
Wow. 11 days. That's got to be a record. Wow.
Yeah, 11 days. And it was all, talk about divine. And this is what I mean. When you start to actually do your own inner engineering, you start to go within rather than looking at, for solutions externally, which is where so many people look at, the solutions. When you start realizing that your only solution is internally and it is with you, then you start to realize, wow, there's a lot more to this. It's really exciting. Fast forward, nearly 12 months, the book is going to be released November 17th, all being well. It is our intention. And it's now a phenomenal story that has grown, that has developed, that is packed with so much stuff there. If you love artwork, if you love history, even this is a book, honestly, Mike, for it's almost like a self-help or spiritual book. I shudder to use the name self-help book now because, again, of how it's tarnished. But self-help spiritual book for folks who would never, ever pick up a book like that. But they're probably the ones that need it the most. So rather than, well, you guys come to me, I am the Almighty, I'm saying, no, I'm coming to you because you need to know, these things in your own mind. And like I say, I mean, letting go and moving on, is often as simple as making a decision. Don't get caught up in the emotion of it. That's where it can become dangerous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really good summary of what you did as well, too. And in the meantime, where can we find the book, The Battles We All Face, Hope in Times of Uncertainty at?
You can find it on Amazon, and it is available on ebook. It is available in paperback, and brand new, it is available in hardback as well. And you can also get it at thejohnmorris.co.uk, where you can also download, purchase, all that good stuff, the audio version. And I personally narrate the audio version. So you're going to get some tidbits on there that you will not find anywhere else. And I think it's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And it is literally like having me as your personal mentor for that period of time.
I love it. We're going to check that out. And what's coming up in 2022 for John Morris and more, you're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international war-ring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the multi-talented author John Morris of The Battles We All Face, Hopes in Time of Uncertainty, after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionsea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with author John Morris of The Battles We All Face, Hopes in Time of Uncertainty. Also artist, painter, bodybuilder, and more here on The Mike Wagner Show. A lot of great quality time with you, a lot of productivity, and feel very productive. And, speaking of productivity and moving out, what else can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond, John?
2022, really, really excited, as we've talked about a little bit, and I suppose I'm prepared actually to give a sneak release. Actually, I think it's the first time that we've talked about it, and what better platform to do it on, obviously, than on your show, Mike. We've got the release of my brand new novel series. It's coming out in November. It is called Art Through the Ages. And like I say, folks, if you love history, the real history of how it would, you look at these programs and you think, gosh, I would really, really like to have gone there. This book literally will take you there. It'll be available in paperback, audio, ebook. It is going to be a phenomenal, phenomenal thing. Also, there is artwork in there that you will see nowhere else, and has been specifically done for this book and for this series. And this is one of a big series, I got to be honest with you. And it's really, really exciting. A lot of my energies are going into that daily, and just really, really excited. So folks, if you're a fan of, like I said, of history, of art, of, the self-help and just being in that place, you're going to love this book. It is almost like, Jane Austen meets Doctor Who, Sherlock Holmes meets, I suppose modern Sherlock Holmes, and Charlotte Bronte, meets, whoever else. but it's a phenomenal trip back into the past, and it's going to be very, very different. That's all I can say. And the artwork for that, again, I've done myself. It is a phenomenal story that is very easy to follow, and it's aimed at, I would say, probably older teenagers and adults as well. But it's going to be really, really exciting, and I think this is going to be. I honestly believe this is the biggest reason why I'm here on Earth.
And of course, we are very excited, and we're definitely looking forward to it, John. You make it sound amazing. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh boy,
did I stump you on that one?
Yeah, I mean that's a hard one. I've got to say, in terms of spiritual transformation that like I say, I went through in 2021. The first one that springs to mind is Wayne Dyer. Other people there, Earl Nightingale and Sadhguru, Jesus Christ, the Buddha, a lot of spiritual teachers. But also you have people like Henry James and Charlotte Bronte and Jane Austen. Again, there's so many that's there, and I'm thankful for all of them. And even down to wrestlers that taught me actually how to do a promo, that taught me how to think out of the box, that taught me how to be that little bit flamboyant when I'm out publicly, but equally how to be more reserved and deeper when just the normal day-to-day stuff is going on. So I've had a lot of wonderful teachers, and I'm very, very thankful for them all.
And very indeed as well, too. I'm ready to get into wrestling after this. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I think, honestly, the best advice I would give to anybody at this point is have a mind that is attached to nothing and open to everything. Allow things to flow. Don't try hold on to anything in life. And just furthering that, you're only going to be here a short time. Don't waste your life. Don't spend 80,000 hours doing a job that you absolutely hate, just trading time for money, because all you will get is somebody that pays you just enough to not quit and just enough so you can pay the bills. But a lot of the time you never have that fulfillment. Do something that you absolutely love, because you can fail doing something you hate. So you might as well take a chance on doing something you love, but have a mind that is attached to nothing and open to everything.
That sounds like the Geico lizard. It's like, if you love what you do, it's not a job. So
yeah, absolutely. And you tend to work more at it, and you tend to enjoy it a lot more for sure. But one of the things we're doing actually, Mike, in 2022, just to I suppose give people a different perspective. We're all about asset building this year in our business, and it sounds stupid. I reached a point a couple of weeks ago where I was tired of working for money. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are like, what?
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah, but, the whole thing about it, I started to think, a lot of people would say to you, that if they don't work, they don't get paid, especially as an entrepreneur. If you don't work, you don't get paid. And I sat there and I thought, what about? Because again, all I want to do right now is to write my books. That's really all it is, and to study. And I started to think about it. I was like, what if there was a way that actually we could get paid and not work, or we got paid whether we worked or not? And that's what we're building up. We're building courses now for Skillshare. We're building things up on YouTube. Jojo and myself, we've got the Battles We'll Face podcast that comes out every Wednesday. And again, you can check that out, folks. We're building books, building brands, we're building prints, all manner of different things. So as again, the less that I've got to do that takes me away from the books and takes me away from the main goal and the main focus, the more I can be spending on that, the more I can be helping people, the more I can be of service to other people. And that's where the entrepreneurial role really comes in, when you turn things around a little bit and you just look at it from a different perspective, almost like the Rubik's Cube.
Mm-hmm. And I'm ready to play the Rubik's Cube. That's a good analogy. I like that one. We're here with author John Morris of The Battles We All Face Here in Times of Uncertainty in the Mike Wagner Show, our true Renaissance man. John, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely terrific. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. And once again, tell us about your upcoming project. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book or check out your works?
Okay, folks. So the best place to contact me is at thejohnmorris.co.uk, where you will have full links to my artwork, to books, to upcoming things, to the YouTube show. You can support us. You can check out some great artwork. You can check out the books, upcoming projects, and all kind of stuff there. You can also come and follow me on Instagram at thejohnmorris as well. Or if you are business minded and you are looking for help in getting your business started from scratch, then head to the Battles We All Face on Instagram. And we will literally, as we're building up skills for Skillshare right now and for other platforms, we can help you get from where you are to where you want to be, learn how to build a business from scratch, and your business success all begins with you. So that's a great place to catch.
And that's very true as well, too. Certainly check it out. Once again, John, a very big thank you for your time. You've been totally amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'll have you back. We wish you all the best. You've got a great future ahead of you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been a pleasure.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.